Okay, alright, this is going to be my last, or a video I'm not going to do in a while about comics, okay? Let me just do this video. So, comic book. Yeah, I love comic books, but I'm not really feeling Marvel and DC. I'm really not. And I know I made tons of videos on these two companies, but this is going to be the one I'm going to make. And with everything going on right now, it has to be made. It really does, because it is getting completely out of hand. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so comic book companies like Marvel and DC are going to try to make their characters look like their movie versions. Now, I don't have a problem with this. I actually understand why they're doing this. They're trying to bring in new readers. But here's the problem, though. You're not really going to bring in new readers. All you're going to do is confuse the new readers even more. Here is what's going to happen. Let's say Joe watches comic book movies, but he wants to get into comic books. Joe goes to the comic book shop. He picks out a comic that he loves from the movie. Guess what he's going to find out? He's going to find out that he has to read a decade's worth of stories in order to get this story. And Joe's going to be like, you know what? The hell with this. Let me just go watch the movies. At least they're easier to understand. That doesn't help. It doesn't help. I understand why you're doing it, but at the same time, it doesn't help. And speaking of confusing the readers, relaunches. Oh, the constant relaunches. You think they would help the new reader get into the series more, but all it does is confuse the reader. The reader goes into a comic book shop, picks up Cyclops #1, but come to find out that it is not a starting point. It's actually a continuation. Same if reader 2 goes to get Avengers #1. Guess what? It's a continuation, not a good starting off point. Same with the DC Rebirth relaunch. Not a starting off point. It's a continuation from the New 52. So, yeah. I don't like relaunches. I really don't. Either do the relaunch after 100 issues, or just don't do the relaunch at all. At least DC lets the series get to a certain number and then does a relaunch, but Marvel is the relaunch king at this point. Relaunch, relaunch, relaunch. And no wonder I stopped reading these two comic book companies. No wonder I quit picking them up. It's too confusing. Oh, the events. I can't stand these big event crossovers. Now look, I don't have a problem if they happen like twice a year, but oh my goodness, it damn near happens all the time. These events are getting very irritating, especially from Marvel right now. We're not even one trade in from Michael Bendis' Iron Man, and we're in Standoff and then Civil War 2. And Civil War 2 has been probably going on for a couple of months now. I'm still shocked that it's still going on. In fact, here's the sad part. Marvel's highest selling comic is the event itself, not its solo series. That's pretty sad. That is pretty sad. But I'm just getting sick and tired of these events. Look, just make a single story arc, okay? Just make a single story that relates to a single character. Enough with these goddamn events. But you know what? I can't even blame you at this point. Fans, can you please stop buying these events? Okay, please stop buying them. Because I don't want to read like 20 issues of this. And plus, it's all characters I don't care about. There are certain characters I want to read about. Guess what? I go to their solo series. I don't want to read a big event with characters I do like with characters I don't like. I don't want to read that. Okay? I just want to read a single story. But unfortunately, the single stories Marvel puts out, guess what they are? Just setups for the big events. That's all they are. I'm getting tired of it. I really am. No wonder I just read the indie books now. It's crazy. Event after event after event. And you would think they would learn their lesson, but no, they're not going to learn their lesson. It's not going to happen. They're not going to learn it at all. They're just going to continue doing it until they can't make any money off it. Oh boy, the inconsistent artwork. It's downright irritating. So here's a story, right? When I started reading Marvel Now, I was reading the X-Men book. I'm sorry, the Uncanny X-Men book by Michael Bendis. I was reading that series. Now, I enjoyed the series, I enjoyed the story, but here is one constant problem I did not like about the book. The goddamn artwork. The artwork was horrible. In fact, here is what pissed me off even more, right? Whenever Bendis had these guest artists write his book, the guest art was better than the actual art of the book. Now, even though I enjoy the guest art, I was saying to myself, why is this art inconsistent? You have one artist doing this issue, another artist doing that issue, another artist doing these two issues, another artist doing that issue. I'm like, just pick an artist and stay with them. Just get an artist that will be with you for at least a trade, if even that. It just really grinds my gears whenever I look at artwork that is extremely different from the last issue. I just don't like that at all. I don't like that in like any series. I can't stand it. I like consistent artwork. Now, if you're going to have another artist do the book, at least make the art look like the previous. At least be consistent. And I just don't like consistent artwork with comics. I don't like it. Not with issues, not even with actual trades. But you know what? I'll take actual art being different from trades than issues. Especially ones in the same trade.
So pretty much in conclusion, Marvel and DC, as far as the comics go, I stay completely away from. The reason I stay completely away from them is the reasons I listed before. But mainly it's the fact that I don't want to waste any time buying these books, and when I start really getting into these books, into these stories, come to find out the story doesn't go anywhere. It just goes to another event. It goes completely nowhere, and I feel actually very suckered. I feel cheated, and I don't want to get a feeling when I'm reading a story. When I read a story, I want to get engaged with the story. I want to feel for the characters, and I want the story to actually have a good conclusion. I don't want the story to keep going or go into a stupid direction where when I look back at me reading it, I feel like I'm wasting my time. And if that's saying too much, then so be it. But that's just the way I feel about it. As far as Marvel and DC comic-wise, I'm not going to mess with them that much as far as comics. Now, as far as their adaptions, they're wonderful. They are excellent. No questions asked. Excellent. But the comic, hell no. So yeah, that's my entire opinion on what I hate about comics as far as Marvel and DC. Give me your thoughts down below. And as always, thank you for watching this video. Peace.